Oh yes, and welcome back to Marvel Contest of Champions news. What am I doing wearing this? I need to get out of this quickly. Much better. And for more groundbreaking effects, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, the RichTheMan channel, for more Marvel Contest of Champions related content as well as news, which is, as you can see, floating in here. We kick the news off on the 28th of November for this post here. This one is all about an opinion piece, but at the same time, it's more of a dissection. And we all have a little dissection, whether or not you're taking apart things and, well, kind of going, this works for this. Everyone loves to pick things apart. Some people may think that this has been a complaining post and it's got a good amount of views and a good amount of interaction to boot. Basically, it points out Act 4 being a little bit of a cash grab and also is giving some sort of props to Kabam. But like I said, even it's difficult to kind of go, is this an opinion post? Is this a complaining post? Is this a giving props post to Kabam? It is very hard to say. The reason for it looking like a dissection post is largely based on certain spends and whether it pushes the player towards a cash-based spend, a unit-based spend in order to get through content, especially considering the amount of energy refills one has to buy in order to get themselves further for quicker in different kinds of content that's released in Marvel Contest of Champions. This has then opened up the floor for many people commenting about the situation, whether or not they feel that their own experience has been different to Hector's, whether or not they felt pushed in order to get energy refills by spending units and eventually spending cash, because effectively it works as a round circle thing. Get units from Arena. It then allows you to spend to get further in the game, whether or not that's buying revives in order to kind of get yourself through difficult content, or at the same time spending on energy refills to then do new content to get more shards, to then go to Arena constantly to get more units, to then do new event quests. It's a round circle that we all experience in the game. There's a few people dropping some truth bombs when it comes to Act 5, and yeah, Act 5 I've just found completely boring, but that, again, that's my own opinion, but it had to be done. Whether or not it took me 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, it had to be done at some point. And whether or not you do that in little steps, little baby steps, then that is your choice. If you want to rush through content because you're really impatient, then you may feel forced to buy and spend in the game. I think Hector's going to battle with a lot of different players and opinions of what they think about his post, and as well as what they think about Kabam and the whole kind of aspect of you do Arena to get units, you know, it's the same thing over and over again. But what is your takeaway of this? Do you think that Act 4, as well as all content, is into that circle, whether or not you spend or don't spend? Are you patient or impatient when it comes to doing new content? Especially with lots of stuff going in for the month of November, it feels like a very crazy time. So burnout, as well as coupled with the fact where are you spending lots on energy refills to get through content? What are your thoughts on the spend, the free to play, and the general consensus of the way the game is designed in order to encourage that? Do you feel that that is a wrong statement? Next up, I want to give props to this post here on the forum. So Green Invader is looking to create a female-based alliance. Now, I've not seen one or heard of one, and that would be something that would be quite good. It does feel at times that, you know, male-dominated alliances can be a little bit intimidating, especially if you look at certain ones. They are extremely male-dominated, which isn't a good thing, and also at the same time isn't a bad thing. It's important to be welcoming on different types of creed, color, gender, whatever, that everybody comes together to love Marvel characters and a great game. In fact, there's some amazing Marvel Contest of Champions players and also MCOC YouTubers that are female as well. So if you're looking for a very female orientated alliance, then go to the link in the description and let Green Invader know that you're interested. Next up, and it looks like we've got Champions Clash. Now you might be kind of going, man, there's a lot of content that's come through in November, and it does really much feel like that. I really kind of wish there was a little bit of a kind of a push for this being in December, especially with the Christmas break coming up. It is an ideal time to have content like this. I myself plan to get so much done. I'm even like while recording the news now, I'm auto fighting the most easiest part of this challenge, just so I can keep up to date so I don't lose the time. The first buff is Finisher. This looks pretty cool. So if you build up your combo meter, you're able to smack through a really decent special attack. But watch out, because apparently the enemy gets something similar-ish that is going to pack a bit of a punch, so don't eat it. This is when it gets frustrating. So the next one up is Handicap. The Handicap buff well, it feels like a debuff, is affecting things like damage over time, and as well things when it comes to special attacks and like criticals, so it's kind of annoying. Kabam advise raw power increases with things like Furies, and as well utilizing the finisher buff in order to kind of take down the enemy. And the final one is Knockout. This looks really fun. So I really can't wait to jump into Epic in order to really utilize this. But using like Hulk, especially when they're talking about the above thing and having Furies, that could be a good link. Thor as well, hitting in with those stuns, constant stuns. You've got your Storm. Yeah, I'm really excited to experiment with this and see what champions are going to be really fun to keep constant stun, get the 300, keep the damage up. Yeah, it's just going to be pretty exciting. But what of the rewards? And they do actually look quite good. It will only be a time will tell factor whether or not the community really wants to make the jump up, and whether or not this will be a little bit too difficult for some and will basically mean that people box clever as to the difficulty they can do in the game. Please remember to get boosts on, which will help you out, and at the same time analyzing and understanding those particular buffs, the way that you'll have to build up combos, the way that you'll have to make sure you play well in order to maximize your damage when there are things that are going to be like handicap, really affecting things like damage over time debuffs, which may think and put you towards champions that you may not usually use, which is a positive. But at the same time, I think players really want to just get stuck in stuff and get it completed, because we have had a very busy month for new content in the game. Next up, and oh, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? So, as you know, in the news on Monday, I discussed the idea like, hey, because of this image here, does it kind of like point us that the thing has been Easter egged, and the fact that there was a title that's meant to be in January saying this man, this monster, which made a lot of people kind of go, hey, isn't the name of the comic book, or in like a comic book that has references the thing? And obviously, yeah, that's 2 and 2 together means 4. Unfortunately, this image here, I have been corrected, but I've been corrected by a key source, the creative director of Kabam. Sorry. Yes, sorry, Gabe. Sorry, community. Didn't realise that. Well, I kind of did, but it's kind of odd that they'd use the same title for January and then put a character that looks, in obviously the look of it, looks exactly like the thing. And the more that you look at it, it even looks exactly like the thing. So, you know, maybe there's a lawsuit here because, you know, whatever. But maybe it's going to be a case we will get the thing in January. I don't know with that title. It could be a little bit misleading. It could be teasing us in the way, or maybe that Otrix and MCC Trucos have got it wrong. But I hope not, because they're usually on the money with these things. Next up, and compensation has gone out to players in reference to the Ægon block proficiency bug slash kind of overpowering issue, which has been affecting a lot of people that have gone up against him. This was actually fixed on the 22nd of November 2018, which is a shame because I smashed out that event in a week, did Heroic Master and Uncollected. So it's kind of annoying to kind of know that, you know, you were going against a broken champion. But we got some sort of compensation for it, so I guess it's okay. And just to reference the reasons for it, it was like the signature ability and how that works with the build-up of combos and then the way it was hitting you. So if you were even blocked, you were taking an extensive amount of damage, more than you should do. Some players are happy with this, some players are not. One example of someone that isn't happy is well, shown here. I got to be honest, when I did it, I think the first time when I messed up, I decided to just, rather than spending loads of revives and stuff, is just reboot it and go back into it and try it again until it felt like a more free and clearer run. But I managed to get through. I think a lot of players did. Also, a quick note for those that didn't realize, yesterday the forum was down for a couple of hours. I myself was experiencing that because I was trying to get the stories ready for Marvel Contest Champions news for today. But yeah, it went down. If anybody wondered what that was about, it's to do with other hosting servers rather than Kabam themselves. So that explains that. And our next story is centered around the arena. As you know, this Thursday we've got Domino in as the basic, and we've got Punisher 2099 as the featured champion. I think Punisher 2099 is going to go for 25 mil. But the 4-star is going to flag in around about a weak 5.6 to 6 mil, kind of a flush 6 mil with that. Domino, however, I think is going to chart close to what Iron Man Infinity War went for, which was 3.966. However, though, 4.2 to be absolutely safe for those champions. Just to clarify, 25 mil for Punisher 2099 5-star, 4-star going for anything around about 6 mil. And finally, Domino going for 4.2 mil. That's my picks and that's my thoughts. So that's been your Marvel Contest of Champions news for Wednesday the 28th of November 2018. I've still got a bit of work to do with the news. I'm actually going to change the graphics a little bit in the coming weeks and months, so do look out for that. I just, every time I look at stuff, I'm like, oh man, I want to change things up. But there you go. So is life. Thanks very much for watching, and make sure to like, share and subscribe for Marvel Contest of Champions news and Marvel Contest of Champions related content. I've been Rich the Man, and I shall catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.